In a hidden room, a kidnapped girl pleads with a wealthy man to let her go,
Please let me go.
but she refuses to reveal the whereabouts of her friend. This deeply disappoints the man. In the next moment, he suddenly steps closer to her, whispering something in her ear. The girl's eyes grow vacant as she picks up a knife from the floor and drives it into her own throat. The man then slits his own palm, merging his blood with hers to read her memories. His name is Vincent Rogue. On the surface, he is a music sponsor with a stellar reputation, but in secret, he wields dark magic and has lived for centuries. To secure his immortality, he makes a pact with a demon, constantly supplying innocent lives. However, his actions are accidentally recorded by a girl named Zade. If the footage leaks, it will ruin his reputation. Unfortunately for him, Zade has already sent the video to her friend, Shelly. Time cuts to a few days before Zade's death. Shelly receives the video, and as she listens to the terrified screams within, she realizes the video captures something horrific.
Why the fuck did you do this?
Zade suggests they use the footage to take down Rogue and avenge all his crimes, but for now, it would be best to leave the city. Shelly tells Zade to stay home and wait for her, but Zade isn't sure if she has been followed. As it turns out, she is right. The moment she steps into her apartment, it is clear someone has been waiting.
Hello, Zade.
Roeg's trusted associate, Marion, immediately steps out of the shadows, grabbing Zade's phone to check who she has been in contact with. Then, he injects her with something, sedating her. Zade is taken away. Realizing her friend is in trouble, Shelly calls Zade's boyfriend, Dorm, telling him something has happened.
Sadie's lost her fucking mind. She just sent me some video that you shot.
And that they need to meet up to figure out what to do. As Shelly walks outside, she feels certain she is being watched. A man follows her every step. Shelly tries to escape, but with no way out, she collides with a group of police officers. Her wallet falls, spilling its contents, revealing a bag of illegal substances. Shelly is taken to the station, inadvertently escaping her pursuers, and later placed in a rehabilitation center. At the center, a boy named Eric is also receiving treatment. His body is covered in tattoos, hinting at a dark past. He is lost in memories of his own tragic childhood, where crows had killed his pet pony, and he had been relentlessly bullied by classmates. It turns out, after enduring an unfortunate childhood, he becomes hardened and aggressive, which leads to him being in treatment. The program is tough on him, but so far he manages to follow the psychologist's guidance. One day, he notices a new girl and is instantly drawn to her. This girl is Shelly. The next morning, Shelly approaches Eric for breakfast, but before she can speak, he reminds her of the rule that men and women can't stay together. She knows this, but she doesn't care, and they continue talking.
They don't like you in here, do they?
Not really.
During group activities, the young couple exchange glances and speak whenever they can. They are trying to stay as close as possible. Meanwhile, Marion tracks down Shelly through her mother, Sophia. Rogue's men make their way to the center to retrieve the girl. That day, Shelly visits Eric's room and looks at his drawings. Some of them feature her, and she loves them.
You write beautifully.
She also reads some of the words Eric has written, realizing they could easily become song lyrics. Later, Shelly decides to visit Eric in his room, but once again, they are interrupted, this time by a visitor. Shelly mentions that no one should know she is there, so Eric goes to check. When he returns, he tells her that a few lawyers have shown up. Upon seeing Rogue's right-hand man, Marion, Shelly becomes terrified. She explains that if they have found her, they will kill her.
If they find me, I'm fucked.
Eric comforts her. Having already fallen in love with her, he decides to help her escape. The two make their way to the laundry room, where Shelly prepares to climb out through the window. Just before she leaves, Eric decides to run away with her. Together, they remove the trackers, climb over the fence, and flee into the woods. Eric then asks her who those people are. She explains that they are part of her past,
A former life.
adding that everyone has a past no one else knows about. Before long, they come to a dirt road and flag down the first truck willing to take them into the city. Shelly leads Eric to her friend's empty apartment, a place she can stay while he is out of town. The couple grows closer, finding comfort in one another. They spend their time reminiscing about their past lives, making plans for the future, and enjoying each other's company. One evening, while sitting on the rooftop, they talk about love and realize they have found something special in each other.
If I'm ever hard to love, try to love me harder.
Meanwhile, the police discover Zade's body and quickly report the news to Rogue, who is attending a pianist's performance. Rogue orders Marion to find Shelly and finish the job once and for all. If the video gets out, it will ruin his reputation. Shelly and Eric, however, continue to enjoy their blossoming relationship. They travel into nature, relax with other young couples, take long walks, and dream of growing old together. The two begin writing songs together, but one day, as Shelly sits at the piano, dark memories suddenly come rushing back. She admits that she used to enjoy performing, but her mother had forced her to perform in places she shouldn't ever be. She had witnessed things not her age girl should have seen. People had suffered because of it, and Shelly is burdened with guilt. Shelly can't bring herself to reveal exactly what she has done, fearing that Eric might leave her.
I hurt people. If you knew, you'd leave me.
But Eric reassures her, telling her that he can't live without her. Even if she chooses to jump from a bridge, they will jump together. Their love seems genuine. One Wednesday night, they go to a club where Shelly runs into Zade's friend, Dorm. He tells her about Zade's death and warns her that the same people are coming after them. He urges her to leave the city immediately. Shelly pulls Eric aside, promising to explain everything once they get home. But as soon as they enter the apartment, Rogue's men ambush them, suffocating them with bags over their heads. Next, we are taken to a place that can only be described as hell, or perhaps the darkness. Here, Eric searches for Shelly and pulls her out of the water, saving her from drowning. But he is too late. Tragically, Shelly has already gone. Desperate to escape the same fate, Eric flees, but he can't find her anywhere. He is lost in the darkness. There, he encounters a mysterious soul named Kronos, who explains that, in ancient beliefs, crows guide souls to their next path, either to rest or to continue fighting against injustice. Kronos tells Eric that the crows will show him the way. Eric, however, refuses to believe what is happening and tries to leave. Kronos pushes him, suggesting he wake up. Eric falls and jolts awake back in the apartment. He immediately begins searching for Shelly, but she is nowhere to be found. Suddenly, he hears the voice of a man, Marion's henchman, as he enters the apartment to retrieve Shelly's phone, which seems to contain something crucial. The henchman spots Eric and demands he step outside, claiming to be with the police. Confused and disoriented, Eric complains about losing touch with reality, unsure of what is happening to him.
I think I'm going crazy.
Then, out of nowhere, the police officer fires a shot. Eric collapses to the ground, but within seconds he stands back up, his wounds healing automatically, leaving the man terrified. They fight, and though Eric is stabbed in the stomach, he pulls the knife out and keeps fighting. In the end, he kills the man with his own knife. Stunned, Eric watches as his wound heals. Walking out into the street, he recalls Kronos' words about the crows and souls. Because of immense grief, a soul cannot always go where it is meant to go, but the crows can guide him in the right direction. Eric follows the crows. Suddenly, he sees Shelly on a bridge, about to jump into the water. He shouts for her to stop, but she still jumps. Eric immediately follows, once again confronting Kronos. Now he knows the truth. They are both dead. Kronos explains that Shelly is on her way to a place far worse than here. The ones who murdered them have made a pact with a demon, trading innocent souls for eternal life. Eric has to avenge both his and Shelly's deaths if their souls are to find peace.
Kill them all, and you get your lives back.
Curious, Eric asks what he has become, now that he can heal himself. The figure tells him that he is now immortal, and that he must fulfill his mission. If his love for Shelly remains pure, it will endure, and he will not die. Kronos pushes the boy back into the world of the living. The first thing Eric does is visit a friend to get a gun. Then, he finds Shelly's mother. She tries to blame everything on her daughter's drug use, but Eric knows exactly what has happened. Sophia is too terrified to speak, so Eric walks into Shelly's room, where he finds photos and a pass to the theater where Zade had gone. Eric makes his way there, and at the entrance he finds the killer, who seems not too surprised by his appearance. Eric demands the name of his master, but the man reaches for his gun and is shot by a stray bullet in the chaos. Eric picks up the phone and finds Marion's name on the contact list. Just then, he sees a woman and her assistant getting into a car. He steps into the road, but the thugs quickly realize what is happening and order Marion to duck. Nevertheless, Eric fires a shot, gets into the car, and tries to kill everyone inside. but Marion's assistant stops him. In the end, Eric is thrown into the path of a massive truck, but his immortal body quickly recovers, and he regains his senses. Later that night, Rogue visits Sophia. He wants to know why Eric has come to see her. The woman confesses that he would do anything to bring Shelly back.
He thinks if he kills you, he'd be able to bring her back from the dead.
As it turns out, the mother has traded her daughter's soul for wealth, a decision she now regrets. Roeg sends her soul to hell, and soon after, the woman throws herself out of the window. Roeg gets into his car, where a young pianist is waiting for him. He calls Marion, explaining that Eric has returned, and orders her to bring him in. Meanwhile, Eric finds Zade's friend and accuses him of betrayal. The terrified boy reveals that Marion is just a small fry, and that the real boss is Vincent Rogue. He has the power to do evil with just his voice. He can enter people's minds and make them do terrible things.
He burrows inside you, finds the darkest parts of your soul, until you do something evil.
It turns out it is the boy has filmed the video that led to Zade's and Shelly's deaths. Eric lets him go and heads to the apartment where they had hidden after fleeing. He remembers the happy times with Shelly, then finds her hiding spot, where her phone has been stashed. He plays the video, and to his horror, he sees Shelly, under Rogue's influence, brutally ending her friend. It is too much for Eric to bear. He seeks out their mutual friend, confessing that he can't shake the heavy thoughts weighing him down, and begins to doubt his love. In that moment, two of Rogue's thugs barge into the room, capturing Eric and ending his friend. Witnessing this, Eric breaks free from his restraints and fights back. He is shot and suddenly dies once more. Returning to the afterlife, Eric faces Kronos again. Kronos tells him that he has lost his ability to heal because he hasn't completed his mission and has doubted his love for Shelly. Now, her soul is doomed to eternal darkness. Eric, on the other hand, is offered the prospect of a peaceful eternity. Kronos suggests that he let Shelly go. However, Eric demands that Kronos take his soul in exchange for saving Shelly.
My soul for hers.
Kronos reminds him that they can never be together, but Eric insists, willing to accept eternal torment to save his beloved. Suddenly, a flock of crows flies overhead. Kronos slits his hand, and Eric merges his blood with theirs. Eric writhes in agony, his eyes filling with black blood, and he gains the power to soar between worlds, just like the crows. Now, he has the chance to restore justice and another shot at ending Rogue. Eric rises from the dead, using his own weapon to end the thugs. Then on one of their phones, he finds a message revealing that Marion will be waiting at the theater. He paints his face with a terrifying mask, arms himself, and sets off for the location. At this time, Marion reports to Rogue that the boy has tragically died, which seems to annoy him. But as the show starts, Marion and her team turn their attention to the performance. Eric enters the theater and takes down Rogue's guards. One by one, they try to stop him, but the boy coldly clears his path, leaving bodies in his wake. Neither knives nor bullets can stop him, as his wounds heal instantly. Marion reports the situation to Rogue, who thanks her for her service. Meanwhile, Eric reaches Marion's balcony and demands to know Rogue's location. Reluctantly, she gives him the address. Before Eric eliminates her and her guards, he takes their heads to the stage and tosses them to the audience, sending the crowd scattering in terror. He remembers Shelly, recalling how she had wanted a bouquet of lilies. He grabs the flowers and leaves them at the bridge, then makes his way to Rogue's estate. Eric walks straight into Rogue's room without resistance, where Rogue reveals that he too is flesh and blood. Rogue mocks Eric's intent to bring Shelly back and sympathizes with his inevitable disappointment.
Where she is. You don't come back from that.
But Eric refuses to believe that Shelly has committed any sins. Rogue drives a dagger into Eric's chest, assuring him that there is no love in his heart, only hate. He attempts to steal Eric's power, but Eric focuses on the moments of light and drags his enemy to the afterlife. There, Eric easily kills Rogue and sends his soul to hell, saving Shelly's in the process. Shelly rises from the abyss, embracing her love. He comforts her, explaining that he can't return. Shelly refuses to go back without him, but nothing can change. She awakes on the night they died, seeing Kronos in the form of a doctor who tells her that Eric has sacrificed his life for hers.
He fought hard for you.
Shelly weeps, and Eric remembers the happy moments they shared when they first met, believing that one day their souls will find each other again.